Hey everybody, welcome back to the Here to See channel. Got an overview for you of the Bible book of 2 John. The epistle, the second epistle of John. An overview, as always, we'll check out Dr. Charles Swindoll, Chuck Swindoll's Insight for Living Ministries, that has an overview over each book of the Bible to include who wrote the book, where are we, why is 2 John so important, what's the big idea, how do I apply this, and a Bible study aid, an awesome Bible study chart that lays out 2 John. Come along with us. But now, the Bible book of 2 John. An overview. Who wrote the book? John did not identify himself by name in this letter, but he did adopt the term elder for himself. 2 John chapter 1 verse 1. There's been some debate about whether an author named John the Elder wrote this letter, as well as 3 John, which is addressed the same way, or if John the Apostle was using a different title for himself. However, the earliest church tradition from the 2nd century on testified in unison that this letter and its companion 3 John were written by the Apostle, not by a mysterious and unknown elder. In fact, an apostle using the term elder for himself was not at all unprecedented. Peter did that very thing in his first epistle, 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 1. So we see that the apostle John wrote the second letter, his second epistle, and here is a Bible map of the local churches of the Bible around 70 AD, around the time of the writing of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. And this is very fascinating. You can see all of the different local churches, many of them you recognize from the book. Very fascinating, great reference to check out as you're reading through the epistles of John. Where are we? John offered little in the way of detail in the short letter we call 2 John. Nothing in the circumstances John discussed in the letter would lead a reader of the time to think that it did not go to the same churches that received 1 John. The apostle addressed the letter to the chosen lady and her children, a mysterious phrase that has been much debated. 2 John chapter 1 verse 1. It either refers to an actual woman or serves as a metaphor for a church. In either case, whether to a smaller family group joined by blood or to a larger one joined by the confession, the application of the letter should remain unchanged. With this letter's thematic similarity to 1 John, it's best to suggest that John wrote from Patmos in about AD 90. Why is 2 John so important? 2 John makes clear that our position should be regarding the enemies of truth, whereas 1 John focuses on our fellowship with God. 2 John focuses on protecting our fellowship from those who teach falsehood. The apostle went so far as to warn his readers against the living false teachers into a house or even offering them a greeting. 2 John chapter 1 verse 10. Such practices align the believer with the evildoer, and John was keen on keeping believers pure from the stain of falsehood and heresy. What is the big idea? John began his second epistle proclaiming his love for the chosen lady and her children, a love he shared with those who knew the truth. 2 John chapter 1 verse 1. From the reports he had received, he understood that these believers were following the teachings of Christ. He summed up this kind of lifestyle in the exhortation to love one another, chapter 1, verse 5, a clear reference to the great commandments of Jesus, to love God, love your neighbor, Matthew 22, verse 36 to 40, John chapter 13 to 34. In other words, those who walk in the truth should be people who love others, but they should be cautious whom they love. Deceivers and false teachers had infiltrated the church, people who taught falsehoods about the person Jesus, teaching that he was not truly a man but only appeared to be one. This early heresy, called Docetism, required the strongest possible response from John. So the apostle warned the true believers away from these false teachers. John's encouragement then was not simply to love, but to love others within the limits that truth allows. How do I apply this? How do we apply this? John's strong encouragement to the believers in 2 John involved loving one another. However, John did not leave love undefined, but described it as walking according to his commandments. 2 John chapter 1, verse 6. This echoes the teaching of Jesus in John's Gospel, where the Lord told his followers, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." John chapter 14, verse 15. Our love is dependent on our obedience. When we don't obey, we don't love. Often we get in the mindset that our obedience to God reflects only ourselves, but that simply is not true. Our actions, whether obedient or disobedient, have ripple effects far beyond our own limited vision of a circumstance. Consider your own life. In what ways might your obedience or disobedience impact those in your immediate circle of relationships? Second, John reminds us not only of the dangers of falling away from the truth, but also of the importance of making obedience a priority in our lives, for ourselves and for those most important to us. Copyright 2010 by Charles R. Swindoll Incorporated. And now, as always, we will look at the Insight for Living's Ministries Overview Bible Chart for 2 John. As we zoom in, we'll see that it is divided into 4 sections. The introduction, 2 John chapter 1, verses 1 to 3, greetings, affirmation, encouragement. The second section, walk in truth and love, 2 John chapter 1, verses 4 and 6, walking in the truth, walking in love, walking in obedience. The third section, stand against error, 2 John chapter 1, verses 7 to 11. The circumstance, many deceivers. The warning, watch out. The instruction, strong but necessary. And the conclusion, 2 John chapter 1, verses 12 to 13, personal note and greetings. Awesome Bible study chart as always. Be sure to check it out. It's been our overview of the second epistle of John. Awesome book of the Bible. Come along with us. We're going to read the one chapter of 2 John, do a Hear Journal on that, just like we've done Hear Journals for every chapter of each book of the Old Testament, as well as Hear Journals for each chapter of the New Testament from Matthew through the 1 John. So come along with us. You can do a chapter a day or as many as you like. But it sure is exciting. We really enjoy doing Hear Journaling. So put your experiences in the comments below, won't you? If you don't know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, read the Gospel of John chapter 3 to learn about His forgiveness. Above all, talk to God. Seek Him. He loves you. And share the channel with others, won't you? Like and subscribe. But now on to 2 John chapter 1. Come along with us. It's going to be great. God bless.